What is up, guys? Welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Kevin Crates. This is the channel where we go to crypto news followed by 5 charts every day. Today we're looking at Bitcoin, Ethereum, Link, ADA, and AXS. And as always, timestamps are down in the description below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that bell on to catch notifications for all daily uploads. The market is pumping, guys. Bitcoin pushing towards 42,000, Ethereum pushing towards 2,500, and the entire market reflecting this pump. We're going to be skipping over today's news in the overview. I got to get this video out as quick as possible. I'm sorry, guys. I was busy working on the DPET video, which is now up in the start of our NFT reviews, which we'll be doing every couple days. But overall, guys, the market is looking green, so let's just jump right into the charts. Looking at Bitcoin's daily chart, let's zoom in here. Bitcoin finally breaking out of the Kumo cloud. I've been talking about it the last couple of days that Bitcoin looks bullish, and there is no denying that. Waiting to see a correction. Let's turn on our notes from last time we talked about this. So as far as price action goes, Bitcoin, we talked about if it can show strength towards 41,000, it does open up the possibility for a push towards 43,000. Let's jump over to the 4-hour chart real quick. Looking at the 4-hour chart, I mean, this thing still looks bullish, and there is no denying that. Conversion line, baseline, nice and far away. Kumo cloud showing a nice uptrend, lagging span way out there, and stochastic RSI high, but it still has room to pump, and the RSI bouncing off 50 and still showing an uptrend. I would not be surprised to see this push towards 43,000, but that's not technically a real sentence because I am just surprised by this movement in general. If we jump back to the one-day chart, turn off all our notes, this is just too many green candles in a row at this point. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 green candles in a row on the daily chart. That is just absolutely insane. Stochastic RSI has been sky high pretty much since the 23rd. So at some point there's going to have to be a correction, but we talked about the conversion line breaking off from the baseline here yesterday, and this looks bullish. If this conversion line, baseline, and lagging span pops out, this is the opportunity to push up in price past 43,000. Let's jump over to the weekly chart to take a quick look at that as well. Looking at the weekly chart, turn our notes off and zoom in here. You can see price action. We talked about having the possibility of pushing towards 47,000 at this point, and that would no longer surprise me. And we did talk about the relief bounce when getting pressed up against the Kumo cloud. Now we may see a rejection around 47,000 if it manages to get that high. But remember this lagging span. Some of you guys who are not new here, who've been a while, we did see this lagging span crossing over before, but see how it has managed to pull itself back into a bullish state. However, the baseline still is above the conversion line. So this is not technically the most bullish setup, but things look good. Look at the stochastic RSI kind of starting to curve up in price. The RSI pushing back towards 50, not exactly too high over it, but price action looks good, and there is the possibility for this to push towards 47,000. But as far as the daily chart goes, let's jump back to the daily chart. This is too many green candles in a row, and at some point there's going to have to be some kind of correction in price. Looking at price action, let's turn these notes on so we can see some price targets. I would not be surprised to see this push towards 43,000 in the coming days. Maybe that's where the rejection will happen, but we can see on the weekly chart, this does have the possibility to push towards 47,000. Now that does not technically mean that the whole market is going to go straight back into a bullish state. And I'm not saying we're going straight back to 100,000 or any of that stuff. That's not what we talk about here. As far as price action goes, things can push back up to 55,000 and work its way back down. There's no guarantee that just because price is pumping from 29,000 back towards 30 to 40,000 that things are just going to keep going up. At some point, there's going to have to be some kind of correction from this harsh move up in price. But as far as price targets go, I kind of keep my eye on this pullback target of around 40,000 now. The main target that'll give us some kind of indication as whether things are going back down towards the Kumo cloud in the coming days will be around 38,500, 38,000. So that pullback target that we talked about before, which it did pull back to, but it managed to push back up in price. And like I said, the higher above 38.5 it stays, the more bullish the price will continue to be. So as far as price action for the time being, I'll be watching that 43,000 resistance and looking for a pullback around 40,000. And below that price target, I keep my eye on that 35 price range, which will be this moving average as it comes back down. If it loses that, work its way back down to around 36.5. But for the current time, I just keep my eye on this price target of around 43,000 resistance, 40,000 support, and around 38.5 as a lower support below that. And if it can manage to push price back down to below 38.5, then things may finally get bearish again. However, price is in a bullish state. It has the opportunity to keep pushing up. Even the Kumo cloud is finally starting to open up a little wider here and show a possible uptrend. So this could turn bullish, and for how long that lasts, Who knows? But we have to keep in mind here, this is too many green candles, and at some point we're going to see an aggressive correction from that. But there is no way to be sure if price action is going to pull back here or start to push back up to around 43,000 and potentially even higher, because things do look decent. However, some indicators are starting to show a bit of signs of a slowdown. I mean, this stochastic RSI, sky high since the 23rd. At some point, that's going to have to pull down. Jump to the 4-hour stochastic RSI, which was low since around July 27th, has finally pushed up. And at some point, it's going to have to push back down in price. On the 1 hour, I'd imagine things are sky high. Yeah, sky high stochastic RSI. So as far as price action goes on the 4 hour, it is finally showing a bit of signs of potentially slowing down, but that does not mean this can't keep pumping. Price action getting out of the Kumo cloud, even challenging the Kumo cloud, was the most bullish thing that Bitcoin has done in months. And as far as price action goes, it is in an area where it has a clear shot to 43,000 now. And if it manages to get above 43,000, the next level I keep my eye on is around 47,000, which we saw on the weekly chart. So for the time being, price targets 43,000 is that big resistance level. Above there, 47,000. Below there, I keep my eye on a pullback to around 40,000. If it can't maintain 40,000, I'd start to watch for a push to around 38.5. And anything below 38.5 is where I would start to keep my eye on lower price targets, because that is where a dip might start in price. From there, I keep my eye on around 37.9 to 36.5. So price targets for the time being, pull back to around 40,000. Push up in price to around 43,000 is the resistance level. Below that, 38.5 is the big support level. And if it goes below 38.5, I could see the market getting a little bit bearish, and I keep my eye on 37.9 and 36.5 below that. Looking at Ethereum's daily charts and our notes on from the last time we talked about Ethereum, I'm still very surprised to see that Ethereum is not leading this pump. Bitcoin is doing much more than Ethereum at this point. However, as far as price action goes, Ethereum's big resistance level we talked about is 2,500. If Ethereum can get above 2,500, it's got a shot for that 2635. And if it gets above 2635, boom, Ethereum's got a chance to make a run. With the London hard fork coming up, anything is possible when it comes to Ethereum. But for the time being, the major resistance level that it's got to get above is 2,500 and claim it strongly and make a push for around 2,600. Anything above 2,635 would be similar to Bitcoin breaking above 41,000, which again is why I'm shocked to see that Ethereum is not leading this pump. I mean, let me turn all these notes off, and you can see here, Kumo Cloud isn't even showing a trend change like it is on Bitcoin. This pump is entirely a Bitcoin-led market pump. This is not Ethereum leading up to the London hard fork like we originally thought we might see. So price targets that I keep my eye on for Ethereum, 2,500 is that big resistance level, and then 2,635 and above is going to be a major resistance level that if Ethereum gets above there, things could get pretty bullish. And as far as pullbacks go, I keep my eye on this level for now around 23.28 because Ethereum has pushed up in price quite a bit. So that'd be my initial pullback target. Below there, I keep my eye on around 2,200. 2,200 is going to be similar to 38.5 for Bitcoin. And anything below there, I start to keep my eye on around 2,000 to 1950 for Ethereum, just underneath that 200 EMA where it usually pulls back to. But Ethereum is not leading this pump. That's a big surprise to me. And leading into the Ethereum London hard fork, which is coming up soon, that may change. And Ethereum does have the potential. It just has to push up a little 2,000, 3,000 in price, or 200, 300 in price, sorry. And Ethereum then has the opportunity to make a legit run for around 2,800 and above. But Ethereum still needs to conquer that 2,500 resistance level, and above there, 2,635 is going to be a big one. Pullback targets, 2,300 to 2,200, and below there, 1,950 to 2,000. Looking at Chainlink's daily chart, let's zoom in here, turn on our notes from last time we talked about Chainlink. Chainlink's stochastic RSI is very high, but as long as Bitcoin keeps pumping, that really doesn't matter. Let's look at the 4-hour chart. Stochastic RSI also high. You can see here it's running into resistance right around 22.3. If we jump back to the daily chart, if Chainlink can manage to get above 22.3, it does have a shot for 23.7, and that is going to be the big resistance level for Chainlink. If Link can get above 23.7, it then makes a shot for 25. Anything above 25 is when Chainlink will be getting bullish outside the Kumo cloud. But you can see here again, as far as trend reversal goes, we don't see that on anything except for Bitcoin for the time being. But Bitcoin is carrying the market back up, and it's all a matter of how Bitcoin performs. So if Bitcoin can keep pushing up in price, $23, 23.7 is going to be what I'll be watching for Chainlink, and then 25.5 above there, and then Chainlink has the opportunity to push anywhere from $30 to $32. As far as pullback targets, I'll be keeping my eye on some of these levels that we talked about before. Somewhere around $18 would be my initial large pullback that I keep an eye on. But let's zoom in here, go to the 4-hour chart and take a look at what's happening. As far as price targets go on a shorter time frame, keep my eye on this one around $20 first. Below that, I kind of watch for that $18 that we just talked about. And $18 would be an indicator that the market is most likely moving back down, where I would keep my eye on these lower price targets that Link likes to bounce off of around 15.6. But $18 to $20 will be the initial areas that I'll be watching for a pullback, 20 being the first one. If prices trend down to around $18, then we give some kind of signal that the market is most likely moving down. So price targets for the time being for Chainlink is $23 is going to be the resistance level it needs to get above. And above there, 25 is the opportunity for Chainlink to get bullish. Anything below that, I'd watch for pullbacks around $20 to 18.6 for Chainlink. Looking at Cardano's daily chart, let's zoom in here. You can see price action again, no sign of a reversal on the daily like we see on Bitcoin. So again, this is Bitcoin leading the market up. How long that's going to last all depends on Bitcoin. But as far as price targets go, we're looking at these for ADA. If ADA can manage to get above 134, that is the most bullish thing for ADA possible. And above there, 147 would be that next target. Anywhere above 147 is when Chainlink has the opportunity to claim 150 and make a shot for 160 or above. As far as pullbacks go, I'll be watching these initial targets that I marked on the 4-hour chart, which is just around 129. And below that, I'd be watching 123. And then anywhere below that, it can dip anywhere from $1.14 to $1. But I'll be watching these first two initial ones for the time being. We're already seeing the 4-hour chart show a possibility of a trend reversal, but not quite yet. This price target of around 131 is going to be the current resistance level for ADA. But if ADA can manage to get back above 134, make a push for 142. And if we jump back to the daily chart, manage to make a push from 142 to 147 from there, ADA's got an opportunity to get very bullish. But as far as pullbacks go, I'll be keeping my eye on that area of around 129 to 123. And then below there, I keep my eye on this moving average of around 115. ADA really doesn't go that low on these dips. ADA is a very bullish project in my opinion. Anything below $1 would shock me for ADA. For the time being, I'll keep my eye on a pullback of 129 to 123, and anything below that around 115. Resistance levels that it needs to get above 134, 147 is the big one, and ADA is a shot to get bullish. Pullback targets 129 to 123 to 115. Looking at AXS's daily chart, let's zoom in here before we even turn any notes on. This is still a decent looking chart on the daily. Conversion line, baseline, nice and far apart. Bit of a slope here, but as far as price action has gone straight up, it is necessary for it to pull back and consolidate a bit. Stochastic RSI is high, but not so high that it can't pump on the daily. And if we jump to the 4-hour chart, stochastic RSI is very low and potentially getting ready for a pump. The 4-hour chart looks amazing, minus the baseline being above the conversion line. That's not the best thing, but like we saw with Bitcoin, and like we see when anything approaches the Kumo cloud, there is always the opportunity for a relief bounce. And this is still showing a very nice uptrend on the Kumo cloud. So let's turn some price targets on to see what's going on. As far as price action goes, 38 would be my big indicator that there might be a possibility for a pull down in price, and potentially 33 would be the big one. We talked about price action remaining bullish. Anywhere above $30 is still decent. It has a possibility to pull back towards even $32, and that is still okay. But anything around this price target of around 34, 32 would kind of give me an indication that maybe price is starting to pull down a little bit. But 38 would be that first pullback target. As far as price action, it needs to get above to get back into a bullish state. 44 is still that big one that we talked about last time. If price action get back above 44, I would not be surprised to see it push back towards 53 or any of these all-time highs and continue up in this trend. But for the time being, it's got to consolidate a little bit. The sideways price action is not bad, and it's also sideways price action with a bit of an uptrend. So things still look bullish for AXS. So as far as price targets, it's pretty simple. 44 is that major one. You want to see it trade back above $44 with strength, and that is some indication that price action may push towards these all-time highs around $53, $54. As far as pullbacks go, I'll be keeping my eye on this price target of around 38.7 is going to be the big one, and below that $34, and then the possibility of a pullback towards $32 to $33. But I'll just keep my eye on these for now. 38.7 to about $34 on a pullback. Resistance level, it's got to get above $44 to get pushed back to those all-time highs, but pullbacks that I'll be watching for the time being, 38.7 to around $34. All right, folks, that's all for today. If there's any charts you want to look at in the future, leave it down in the comments below. Make sure to check out the DPET video. It's uploaded now, review with technical analysis. And make sure you give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, turn that bell on to catch notifications for all daily uploads. If you're not following me on Twitter, KevinCrates_ on Twitter. I'm extremely active on there. Anytime you tweet at me, I will always tweet back at you. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'm out.